Come, gather round, everyone. They're about to talk Disney. I am still so confused as to whether I'm going to eat at Connections or Creations. So the only way I can keep them straight is I have to think, okay, well, my mouth connects to my stomach, so I guess that's Connections.
So I call Catherine to see how dinner at the restaurant is going, and she says, I can't talk to you right now. I'm talking to Mickey. So I'm like, okay, here's the big cheese. I get it. And then she says, hold on, he wants to talk to you. So she FaceTimes me, and I'm FaceTiming with Mickey as I'm getting ready for the podcast.
I don't understand why people spend hard-earned money on a Mickey ice cream sandwich in the parks. I mean, we literally all have ice cream sandwiches in our freezers at home. We don't have Mickey bars. From the mind and creator of the Disney YouTube channel Living in Diz comes a whole new Disney podcast. Okay, can we talk some serious Disney here now? Nope. Get ready for all the Disney knowledge that you can handle. It's Corey. It's Lawrence. It's the DIZPod.
You are now listening to a member of the Disney Podcast family. Head over to Disney Podcast Family on Instagram to see all the latest posts for this show and links to other great Disney podcasts.
Hello and welcome everyone to the 68th edition of the DIZPod.
Very good. How about that?
Woohoo! It only took me 68 times to do it, but I did it. Don't count on me doing it next week, though.
No.
I can't guarantee that at all. So welcome to the live edition, October 22nd, 2024, Lawrence. Maybe
right.
I'll start saying the date. I can't get that wrong. It's right here on the monitor.
I would probably
that.
Date.
Well, you might have to fix that monitor of yours. I mean, you ever have a computer that has the wrong date? I've seen it.
Less
weird. You gotta go into.
I think it's set by the world clock or whatever, but yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes I look up that clock that's you just Google the digital clock and the digital clock comes up.
Mm-hmm.
You know when I use that? This is my secret. This is pro tip 685, everybody. It is when you wake up in the morning at 6:57 to get Tiana's Bayou Adventure. You look up the world clock and you watch it tick down or tick up. And at the appropriate time, you jump over to the My Disney Experience app and you tap away so that you can get group 1 on Tiana's.
I have never used that in my life.
Really?
Yep.
Have you ever gotten group 1?
I have never gotten group 1.
All right, then.
12 or so has been my lowest. But some of us don't try to get group 1, because
You've got to get better.
We're not rope droppers. So, getting group 1 isn't necessarily a good thing there, Corey.
It's status, you got an iPhone. I'm group 1, it's a status thing. No, I couldn't believe I got group 1 that time. And then I turned around and got group 2, right?
Yeah, exactly.
The next time. I was on a roll. Did I get group 3?
I thought you were just going to keep counting up. This week is 1, 2, yeah.
I'll ask people. I'll tell them. I'll go, what do you want? What number do you want? What do you want me to get you? 7? Okay, I'll get you 7.
Yeah.
But welcome, everyone. We do this live because we do it for you and you only, all those dedicated people wanting to interact with the other live people. No bots here, Lawrence. No bots here.
Nope. They are all real. Everyone.
100% pure and clean here at the Diz, and the other Diz, all the Dizes. And let's see. Nope. Nightbot just dropped something. Says, while not required, donations are accepted. You can join our Patreon for as little as $2 a month. much appreciated for sure. And I got a couple things to get on a soapbox for related to both places in Orlando.
Uh-oh.
So we'll have to cover that a little bit
All right.
and do a little rant on that. And other than that, good day for me, good day for you leading up to the podcast.
Yeah, can't complain. It was
You know, I'm glad that you zeroed in on your camera because my head is always way bigger than yours.
yes,
Just email us at not living in Diz, at the DIZPod at gmail.com for any jokes or comments after me making that one. But I don't know if this one can zoom in or zoom out, but you always just look so much smaller.
I actually have a little bit of control of all cameras.
Oh, well,
Mhm.
pull me back a little bit then.
I can't go out. I can
Oh, you can only go in.
yeah.
I know. I was thinking, how could that even happen like that? But weather's been good. We're heading into for Orlando weather, parks weather. We are heading into the beautiful season. Everybody, we're looking at. It was like mid 80. I think it was mid 80s today. I don't know if we hit 90. When I looked, it was about 85 a little later in the afternoon. It's not going to rain much anymore.
Mhm.
And, the weather is pleasant, very, very pleasant. So we love this part. Again, it's the conversation before we leave for the park. It's not, do we need to bring a poncho or an umbrella? It's, do we need a sweatshirt or a Spirit jersey? That's a
Mm,
much better conversation.
yeah, I do like October, November, and then even leading into winter in Florida. Although the last two Christmases that we went, it was freezing. Christina wore 4 pairs of pants in the parks,
All at once.
all at once. Yeah.
That sounds like Neil on the upper half. So yeah, you do get those outliers where that does happen. So for anybody that is looking to travel that late in the winter, definitely look at your calendar and definitely bring a pair of pants and a thicker type of jacket if in preparation, because we got caught like that once too years ago when we were vacationing. We were here and I had one pair of pants that I used to ride, the plane because it can get cool in there, and we were flying back and forth from Maine, so I had one pair, and, I'll never forget this. We were in the area of Splash Mountain where you exit and you have the restrooms and you come off, the wooden area and then you start walking. There's like a play area there. They
Yeah.
used to do like a Woody and a Buzz meet and greet over there, Jesse, and we were doing that. And we actually ran into like some neighbors or something from up in Maine
Oh,
there. And they said, "Oh, be prepared because tomorrow is going to be freezing." We're like, huh? What? This is Florida. So it stayed that way for a few days. So I literally had to wear those jeans for 2 or 3 days, and we just joked about wearing the same jeans every day.
oh my goodness. Yeah, it does get cold, but I tell you what, a cold day, just like they say a rainy day, a cold day in Disney is better than a nice warm day at home, that's for sure.
Yes.
So
So, what's up for today? We're here. What are we doing?
today we are here. I there's something about this channel and living in Diz as well. We try to do the same role as Epcot and do a little bit of edutainment. And I think that tonight is going to be one of those nights. Uh, our guest, Dan, comes to us from his own YouTube channel, but the biggest reason was his Facebook group, Disney for Seniors. And I just thought it was a great idea to have a group that can focus on that. I see it with my own mom who's not in the chat. The Yankees are not playing, so I'm surprised she's not in chat. Maybe she'll join in a little bit. But the as we all get older, people think that they shouldn't travel as much or the parks are for young kids, and I think that Dan is going to show us through his knowledge and through his group that that is not true. You can certainly continue to travel the parks, and so that's I'm looking forward to today. So Neil's in. Hello, Neil. Hello, Anne. Hello, Tiger Girl. See a lot of our regulars. Grandma Grover. I talked to Dan right before the show, and I was mentioning you, so I knew you would be in tonight. So glad to see everybody here. Um, Corey will be right back. So let's bring in Dan while we're waiting for Corey. Let's see. There we are. Dan, welcome.
Good afternoon.
Thank you for joining us. We definitely appreciate you coming on the show. I think it's a topic that is well worth discussing for sure.
Well, thank you so much for the invitation. Seriously,
Absolutely.
it's one of those demographics of Disney guests. Let me put it that way,
Hmm.
where frequently forgotten. It's an afterthought of seniors at Disney, with whatever age you want to start defining a senior.
Hmm.
Half a dozen different ages out there, but it's a demographic that's forgotten. Some would argue or debate even forgotten by Disney itself.
Mm.
So glad to have the invitation to talk more about seniors' needs and what seniors like to do in the park,
Yes.
on the cruise line, so on.
So how did you start the group? What made you start the Facebook group?
Well, Nancy, my wife Nancy, and I retired right into COVID in 2020, and Nancy was still working, and she's still working. 9 years younger than I
Hmm.
am, and we both love to travel, and so at least twice a year go out to Disneyland, Disney World, and at some point, I think of either her, she said to me, I said to her, you know what, you travel so much, you have a familiarity with technology, although if I can be candid, I still can't get a podcast to work. It's technology over my head. But
Uh-huh.
why don't you start a YouTube channel on our travels? And so we did that for both Disney and non-Disney. And after a while, we thought, people are just more interested in our Disney experience as seniors. And then back in March of this year, and looking at the various YouTubers and bloggers out there, and then looking at Facebook groups related to Disney, we could not find one on either social media, YouTube or Facebook, that was for seniors by seniors.
Hmm.
And so we thought, well, let's give it a shot. What do we have to lose? Costs nothing to start up a Facebook group. And I've got time because, as I said, I'm retired. And for about 3 months, we had up to 50, maybe 100 members. That's not 50,000, 100,000. I'm talking 50
Hmm.
or 100. And I was telling Nancy, you know what? There just isn't the interest in this. So I was about to pull the plug, and then all of a sudden, back in, I'm going to say late July, and I still can't figure out what it was that gave our Facebook group the push. But it went up to 1,000, and then it was 5,000, and then next week it was up to 10,000. Today we just hit the 46,000 member mark in the Disney
Wow.
for Seniors Facebook group. So that's after what, almost 7 months now.
Wow.
And I thought I was going to relax when I retired. Well, not anymore.
It has become a full-time job for sure.
And then some with Jillian and with Chuck, who have volunteered to help moderate.
Hmm.
And even with that, it's a lot of work, as y'all well know. But it's so gratifying when you hear various stories of, that I'm sure we'll touch upon at some point, of people who are glad they joined, getting help, getting from a senior's perspective, not from a young adult's perspective, not from a family with pushing kids in the strollers in the parks. They want a very different experience
Right.
when on vacation period, let alone at Disney, whether it's Disney Cruise, Disneyland, Disney World, Disney Paris, what have
Hmm.
you. And it's just taken off by word of mouth for the most part. It's been a lot of fun. I really hope it continues.
So you said it's been about seven months since you started
Yes,
the group.
yes.
So yeah, tell us some of the highlights, some stories that you see that that people will post that how the group has helped them.
Well, we're frequently um, getting posts such as, I love going to Disney. I've loved it all my life. But at my age, I felt like I'm the only one. None of my friends are interested. My husband doesn't want to go with me anymore. And I finally found I'm not alone. There are thousands and thousands of others like me who enjoy Disney, who love Disney, who appreciate whether it's Disney's famous for its detail
Hmm.
in everything, the parks, the resorts, the attractions, the restaurants, just the attention to detail that Disney provides. And so we then they then go back to the park, and at our advanced age, we are reliving our childhood memories. Where if it's say in Disneyland and they see the Matterhorn, you know, they would save themselves and they would then repeat it on a post or a comment or just a private message to myself. I saw the Matterhorn or I saw the teacups, and I'm just thinking about when my mom took me,
Right.
and they will post pictures of back in the day when their mom, dad took them, when they're there with their cousins and their family. And it's that type of experience that goes well beyond a theme park. That you just can't sit in a chair on a roller coaster and go. That's the attraction. But it's more the bigger picture that it's here in the heart.
Yep.
That it's just very unique.
That's 100% because I think now when I go to the parks with our daughter who's 5, and I think back to mom taking us when I was 9. She'll put in chat how old I was the first time. But you're putting you know that you're creating those memories for them. And now on the opposite, now mom has come with us I think 3 times in the last couple of years to the parks, and now we're creating different memories. She's creating memories with her granddaughter and her grandsons, and we had a huge family trip with there were 18 of us, and we were able to do that together and create those memories. So yeah, I think it's more about the memory and the nostalgia than being able to get on Space Mountain or Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, that really creates that atmosphere. I mean, Walt Disney himself expected the parks to be for everyone, a place that everybody could enjoy of all ages. And so there's different things that maybe you don't do the same, you don't operate the parks the same way as you did when you were in your 20s or 30s, but you still can enjoy them.
Oh, absolutely. We just did a poll last week in our Disney for Seniors Facebook group where we asked, at Disneyland Resort, which of the two are your more favorite park to go to, Disneyland or Disney's California Adventure? And it was 4-1 Disneyland. And that surprised me a little bit. But the reason time and again was because we asked people, make your selection, but then the comments state why, give your reason.
Yeah.
And it was for the nostalgia.
Yeah.
And more than one said, well, that's Mr. Disney's park. Another one, I can feel Walt there.
Mm.
And that's huge. I mean, that's the type of experience that seniors can get when they go, whether they go on their own. We have a lot of solo um, guests, seniors who go on their own now, and they talk about their experience in the Facebook group of doing that, and the freedom, being able to do what they want when they want at a moment's notice in the parks, and how the mood
Mm-hmm.
strikes them. I mean, that's huge. But again, we've got seniors who love doing roller coasters in their 80s.
I saw a picture on Facebook in an annual pass holder group of this person. The poster had posted her and her mom went on Guardians of the Galaxy for the first, or her mom went on Guardians of the Galaxy for the first time, and she was 80. And I was like, good for you. You
Oh
know,
yeah.
I love it.
Oh yeah. Because I mean, when someone asks me, well, what's a senior? Um, AARP says it's 50.
There you go,
Uh,
Corey.
No, 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 no,
Mary,
no, no. I refuse to open any mail from AARP yet. I'm 2 years in.
Marriott International will say it's 62 because that's when they start to give senior discounts at many of their Marriott branded hotels.
Mm-hmm.
SSA, Social Security Administration, will say, or the Medicare will say it's 65. And yes, I am a card carrying proud senior. SSA, for Social Insurance, for Social Security, excuse me, will say it's now 67. Right? So there's varying ages, but seniors also, people think of seniors are going to be the ones who are in the walkers with the tennis balls underneath at the bottom of the walkers or in wheelchairs. Well, yes, as us humans age, the percentage who have a disability increases absolutely, and that's actually a topic of a future YouTube video I'm working on. But when my first daughter was born, she had two different disabilities, and in the first 10 years, she got two others. And so I have these memories of when she was 6 years old, pushing her in the wheelchair in Magic Kingdom and Epcot and Animal Kingdom. Ever tried to push those babies on the cobblestone pathways of Animal Kingdom?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, and that's one of my favorite memories. You asked me about my memories earlier before we started in the pre-show. And it's when oldest daughter, when she was 6, her sister was 5, and I was there with my first wife. And so our 5-year-old was over interacting with Dopey, kissing Dopey's ear. Now, what else would a 5-year-old do? I'm trying to kiss Dopey's ear. And so there is my oldest in the wheelchair watching. And then the Winnie the Pooh character comes over, motions to me that, and you don't know who's in the costume, so he or she, let's say it's he for Winnie, wanted to push my daughter in her wheelchair. I went, oh, okay, that'd be kind of cool. So I brought my 5-year-old back over, and so off we go with Winnie the Pooh pushing Bridget in her wheelchair. And so I'm walking on Bridget's right. Bridget, who's over there? And she said, she looked over. That's Mom and Jennifer. I said, okay. And I'm over here, right? Said, yeah. Well, if Mom and Jennifer are over there and I'm over here, who's pushing the wheelchair? And she thinks for that minute, for a minute, or a few seconds. That's only a young toddler can do, with that look on her face. And then she turns around, and just the look on her face as a 6-year-old, seeing one of her beloved characters pushing her in the wheelchair. And again, at that age,
Yeah.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, it's real.
Right.
It really is Winnie the Pooh. Again, that's a memory I'll take to my grave. And that I get to remember every time I see Winnie the Pooh Or sure, okay, dopey too. Whole ear kissing thing. That's a memory I'll get every time I see those characters in the Disney parks or on a Disney cruise.
Wow. Yeah, that's cemented for always, right? For you and I'm sure the whole family that was there. That's how do you, how do you forget something like that? Wow.
Okay. Yeah.
Um, so there were a couple questions. We'll answer these and then keep going. But if you have a question for Dan or for us, put it in the chat. Put a Q in front of it so we can see it better, and we will certainly try to answer them. Um, so the first question comes from North Carolina as well. Purple Pleasure says, "Shouldn't your son, daughter-in-law, and granddaughter consider taking their senior to Disney World on their next trip?" Yes, Dan, that is my mom. So she's already pushing for us to go on our next trip. I actually looked at the calendar just last night, so we're working on it, Mom. We're gonna see. Um, but here's a question
Hi,
from
Mom.
there you go from Fly Girl wants to know when visiting Disney World, is it best to buy the annual pass or day to day or 1, 2, or 3 days? What's your thought, Dan? Are you a pass holder?
We are. We also own some Disney Vacation Club contracts. And so because of that, we can receive not as good a discount as if one was living in Florida,
Mm-hmm.
right? So jealous. So not just envious, jealous of the folks living in Florida who can get that pixie
Mm-hmm.
pass. But we get that somewhat discount. We have the sorcery pass. And even for that, we it's been, I guess, a year since I've looked at it, but up till then, every constantly look, and it takes about 8 to 9 days in the parks to pay, whether it's 8 1 day tickets or 1 8 day ticket, but it takes about 8 days in the parks just to break even
Mm-hmm.
with an annual pass. So 1, 2, or 3 days, no, don't get an annual pass. Way too costly. Get say the 3 day ticket or the 2 day ticket or the 4 day ticket.
When we were buying our annual pass, we did the what I call Disney math, and we're like, well, we'll go. Well, I know we're going to go once this year for like 5 days, so yeah, maybe we should just get the annual pass. And we bought the annual pass, and then they stopped selling it like 3 days after, so we were very lucky. But we bought it, and we had only planned for 5 days. Well, but now you have an annual pass, so you have to make it worth it. So now you have to go more, and you're not paying for tickets, so it's really a great deal. Yet every February when I've got to dish out 3 times 1,400, you do remember just how much
Oh,
that
yeah.
is.
Oh, yeah. What really Nancy and I really appreciate with the annual pass is, again, as we get older, even though she runs marathons and she's going in to do the Dopey again for her third time this January
Oh
with her
wow.
sister. But our stamina is decreasing, even though, again, she runs marathons and half marathons. I know my stamina is decreasing. We can't do rope drop to close out anymore. We haven't for a few years. When we would buy just say the 5 day, 6 day ticket for the one vacation, I never told you I'm a retired CPA, did I?
Mm, okay.
So you know what CPAs like to do? Crunch the numbers and maximum. I had what was this term? I had the term. It was to maximize the number of minutes in a park per dollar spent on the ticket. So
Oh my
the
goodness.
longer we stayed in the park, then the higher that number would get. And so, but with an annual pass, the true blessing there is yes, we know we're coming back. If nothing else, we paid that chunk of money, so it's going to be more than just the one trip for the year, the annual pass year. But if we're not going to sleep in the morning, yeah, we'd go for rope drop. We're back at the resort by 12 or 1 o'clock. And then we may go out in the evening to the same or a different park. because again, you can hard copy, as you know, with an annual pass. And but I'm not fretting about it. I don't have my pocket calculator out or my imaginative pocket calculator out here trying to figure out that number, that quotient, because it's money already spent. We're going to come back, and it just make it more relaxing and memorable experience. And so, if Tower of Terror is down the day we're there, we'll be back. I don't have to worry about it.
Right.
If the Matterhorn is under refurbishment at Disneyland, like, okay, well, it's disappointing because we don't go to Disneyland as often as Disney World, but we'll be back. So that's an added benefit that you can't put a price tag on that, but you can on the whole cost, lumping it all out.
Yeah, that is certainly true. When we bought our annual pass, not the first trip that we used it, because the first trip it was that big family trip of 18 people, and that was just frantic. But after that, you start to take the days in the parks a little differently as an annual pass holder, because, like you said, you know that you'll be back. So if you don't get to see something this time, you don't get to ride something this time, you know you'll be back. Hopefully, with us, it's about every 10 weeks or so that we go back.
Oh, wonderful,
Yeah. So
wonderful.
it just we look at the parks a little bit differently. You know, my daughter, our daughter loves to do the scavenger hunts in Epcot, and
Mm.
so we take the time to do that with her. Had we not been annual pass holders, do you think I would take time to be doing a scavenger hunt in Epcot? I'd be getting on Guardians and soaring, bouncing around as quick as you can. But you can take the time to really enjoy the park. So for that reason alone, I love being an annual pass holder.
Yeah. Or even at the Food and Wine Festival, um, taking in, going from booth to booth. Although my
Yeah.
first time at the Food and Wine Festival, about 2 weeks later, when we're back home, I got a 4-page, 3-page credit card bill. Those $5 here, $6 there, the different booths. They all, I'm going, oh yeah, right, yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
But
that's where that was. That's right.
yeah,
Crunch the
but the
numbers.
the Flower and Garden Festival is one we really like because you can take your time and just enjoy all the plants and the flowers. It's when Epcot is at its prettiest,
Hmm.
and just you know grab a drink, whether it's at the open area at Rose and Crown, for example, and just sit out there. And I've learned that my new love Guinness beer is meant for those lazy afternoons. Not when you're in a hurry, you just got 15 minutes and go, but those lazy afternoons, not to plug that beverages, but because it's got hardly any carbonation in it. It's not like American beer. It's not like a lager. And so we can just sit there at the table just outside Rose and Crown, sipping on my dark beer and just looking around, enjoying Nancy talking about whatever, enjoying all the flowers that were brought in, the topiaries that are brought in that we can see from that or any area. And again, if you didn't have an annual pass, okay, that ratio's getting low, Dan. You gotta, do something.
That's right. So, what's your favorite festival?
It's a tie between Flower and Garden and the International Festival of the Holidays. This is going to be our third year in a row going back Thanksgiving week.
Mm.
Now, when I mentioned that to the folks in the Disney for Seniors Facebook group, I got a lot of comments saying, who, when they're a senior, would go at one of the busiest times of the year? Well, Nancy works, so we gotta take our time. But and our annual passes don't allow us in the park after Tuesday of Thanksgiving week. But just walking around, resort hopping, for example, where when was the last time we really went to Grand Floridian and just hung out in the lobby of the main building with the gingerbread house
Mm.
that's built and all the decorations? Or, you know, Corey and Lawrence, have either of you spent any time at the Wilderness Lodge lobby when it's dressed up for Christmas? You have
Yes.
to.
It's one of the favorite things for us to do as annual pass holders and locals, where we like to visit all the prettiest lobbies. So, yes, Wilderness Lodge is one of them. Of course, you already mentioned Grand Floridian. That one is just amazing with the how huge that tree is, and the gingerbread house, like you said, and all the snacks. So yeah, it's fun to get around and look at all these things and take some time. And we're the same way, where we have to take what we normally do in the parks because we're blocked out for that part of Thanksgiving week, as well as 2 weeks or a little bit more than 2 weeks during the holidays. So that's the time we take our stream around and enjoy with our audience all those wonderful things.
Oh yeah, and even at a Jumbo House, their huge
Yes.
Christmas tree with the incredible decorations that are there. And I met for the first time their giraffe and zebra in the lobby at Christmas, made out of, yeah, I could be mistaken, but I'm pretty sure that's made out of gingerbread and chocolate combination. I forget the exact. It's on one of the videos on our YouTube channel. But if we had never gone, it'd be like we'd never met the zebra, met the giraffe, because they're only there, Thanksgiving through the end of the year. It's just magical. Last year we stayed for 2 weeks, which was great because Nancy fractured her shoulder a couple of days before we arrived in Orlando. That itself was a whole interesting experience. But I'll tell you what, Orlando, you've got from our experience, the best um, orthopedic hospital right in downtown Orlando. Amazing. And I can't remember the name now. If someone really needs it, message me, email me, and I can get it. I don't remember now. But Nancy fractured her shoulder at a non-Disney resort just off the property 2 days before we were scheduled to check into. Our first one was, I think it was Animal Kingdom, because we did a resort hop and or split stay, and they just took such good care of her. And so there she is at the parks with her arm. You can't see it, but arm and those big slings and so on, like a trooper. But then, and you mentioned it, if it's raining, if it's too hot, where else would you rather be if it's still going to be raining or too hot? Would you rather be at home or would you rather be at Disney? And so she stuck it out, and which was actually good because I gave her arm at least 2 weeks more to heal before getting on an airplane to go back to Phoenix area. Um, it was great. And so because of that, we could do the candlelight procession a couple of days after Thanksgiving when our annual passes kicked in again. Uh, Between that and again, Flower and Garden Festival with how beautiful Epcot is. Those are our two favorites. Very long-winded answer, but I talk a lot.
Oh, we don't. Yeah, that's different because we don't do that
No,
here
no,
at all.
no, we're
No,
not.
no long-winded answers here. You're talking about favorites, and time and time again, Lawrence and I will come up with what's our favorite festival. But listening to you talk, it may not be my favorite, but I think what I enjoy the most is Festival of the Arts because of kind of what you said. Like, I love, listen, the first day, I believe, we did Festival of the Arts live on a Saturday last year. I thought we'd cover at least half the world showcase. We didn't even get through half of it because we stopped at so many booths, casually did a review on that, enjoyed the food, and then we just took our time looking at the art. So how is that? How great is that to eat, drink, look at art, like really look at it, then move along. Oh, let's try this food and let's move along. Let's let's look at some more art. So that one I think I enjoy the most for that reason.
Oh yeah, we were, was it last year? We were there for Festival of the Arts, and I was impressed how far it had come from the previous time I had been. And my favorite thing there was the sidewalk chalk art,
Mm-hmm.
where, oh my gosh, where again, guests could come in and get their chalk and colors and doodle right there on the sidewalk there on that. And I forget its proper name, but it's the walkway between what used to be called Future World and then to World Showcase. So that bridge. And there was one gentleman, incredible artist. He had the um, the movie Wish had come out a few months prior,
Mm-hmm.
and just had that scene where the lead character was sitting on the side of a hill, looking up at the night sky with the stars. Unbelievable! How incredible that was. So yeah, I mean they're all great for different reasons, provide different memories, different experiences. Yeah.
Yep.
The I think Festival of the Arts is probably our favorite because there's variety. You know, obviously Food and Wine is focused on food and wine. Um, but with Festival of the Arts, you have performing arts, you have nice sculpture. I don't have them here. Oh, Catherine has them upstairs in her studio. She has a little Mickey and I think Goofy figurines that we bought at the Festival of the Arts. But then you have all this food, and it's so well decorated. I
Hmm.
think Epcot does a great job with all the festivals. What's your favorite park?
It really is a tie between Animal Kingdom and we both really enjoy the animals. Um, everything, whether it's the Kilimanjaro Safaris ride, which is always it's always different, to the shows that are there, the Festival of the Lion King, the Finding Nemo, it's called Finding Dory now, I forget. Oh, the Big Blue Sea, the Big Blue Ocean, I forget the proper name.
Yeah.
So we enjoy doing those and just walking through the various discovery trails. Where every time it's going to be different. The same gorillas are not going to be sitting in the same spot doing the same thing. We walk into a falls, or the birds, flying around. There's the ones that like to build their nest from underneath, which is pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then for us, when we are not rushing from one attraction to the next, absolutely, it's a full day. And that's even if we didn't hit rope drop to get uh, the flight of passage. It's still a wonderful, wonderful experience.
So you said you are DVC. What's your home resort?
Our first one was Saratoga, and then Smollett, Poly, and then Boardwalk. Uh, we're very fortunate that we're able to have as many as we do. It's been our retirement plan so that when Nancy does become retired, then we can spend a lot more time in Disney World, not just a week, 10 days, 2 weeks here or there, but spend half the winter. So we're slowly building up purchase of DVC points. Um,
Wow.
yeah, I love Alani, but we don't own at Alani. But we've been there at the 7 month mark, able to find certain sweet spots of studios or one bedroom. Uh, I like
Yeah,
them all.
Alani's beautiful. Alani's beautiful. Um, Boy, Nancy sounds like she's trouble. She really holds you back and causes a lot of trouble over there.
I'll make sure she watches the replay because again, she's working right now too, the other part of the house.
Oh.
Ah, okay. Don't know you, Nancy, but we love you. Maybe we'll see you in the park someday.
So Melissa Winters wants to know, do you know the best way to get a wheelchair for the whole week with someone that has POTS and mobility problems?
Rent it from an off-site vendor. do not rent it from Disney. Would be my strong recommendation, especially if you're staying on site, Melissa. Um, there are several um, that the feedback from the members of the Disney for Seniors Facebook group, and we'll get a post 3, 4 times a week asking that same question and who should I rent from?
Mm-hmm.
And we even have in the Facebook group several guides. Now, I hear the word guide. I think of like a thick manual like that, that's formal and so on. So it's a bit of a misnomer, at least how we're using it. In the Facebook group, it's just collections of posts that the group has had numerous comments that of I term I use is of value that would help people. And so we have one guide specifically devoted just for ECVs and scooters and wheelchairs um, that these posts and the people have commented. And so if I was to look now, I could find one. I could just list half a dozen different vendors who rent scooters and ECVs that will, and some of them have different restrictions. Some will, if you're staying on site, they will bring it to the Disney resort you're staying at, but you have to be there to collect it. Others say no, they are comfortable leaving it with Bell Services. So each one's a little bit different, um, but that would be the way they go. Prearrange it before you come down to Orlando. And I think the question was Orlando,
Mm-hmm.
as opposed to Disneyland. But yeah, this happened. And here's a shameless plug. If you become a member of the Disney for Seniors Facebook group, you too can go into the guide for ECVs and scooters, and you'll see 2, 3, 4 of the past posts, and just click through there, and you'll easily see half a dozen different names there.
Yeah.
Grandma Grover in chat says I rent the scooter from Scooter Bug and they bring it to the resort and I have it for the entire trip. What if you don't? What if you're not staying on property? What if you're staying just off property but you're going to Disney? How does that get arranged? Do you know?
That one I do not recall off the top of my head. And I got a haircut today just for the podcast, just so you know. I don't have as much hair on top of my head as I used to about
It
6
looks
hours
good.
ago. But
I
off
shaved
the
like
top of my head,
50 minutes ago. Looking good.
off the top of my head, I don't. I'm pretty sure that question has come up, but I don't remember the response. Each individual um, vendor will have its own policies. I mean, there's one vendor who tried to become a sponsor of the Facebook group, and it's not what we're about. But there was another vendor who I was told secondhand heard of this need that this person had, could not fill it, but knew another supplier of an ECV and arranged through that other supplier to meet that Disney guest need. So they'll be out there. It's just a matter of you got to contact 2 or 3. Never do just one, but contact 2 or 3. Explain what your situation is, and see what their policy is. And but before you do that, come to the Disney for Seniors Facebook group where you'll see which ones people recommend. It's not my recommendation. I'm still fully mobile, um, but that's where seniors helping seniors, giving from a senior's personal experience. I use so and so, and they were great. And, well, yeah, so did I. Yeah, so did I. Well, I use so and so. They're really great. So look at those names that are recommended by people by just going through the posts.
And
Another great tip from
the-
Disney Dina, who says if you are staying off property, be sure to rent one that comes apart so you can put it in the trunk. Good tip.
Yes, I do remember that. That's a common recommendation from a senior. And again, it depends on what type of vehicle you have as well.
Yeah.
If you have a Prius, that might be a challenge. There are smaller, compact scooters and ECVs, so it's a matter as well. But that is a possibility. Yeah.
Right.
So Melissa asks, and I'm sure it is day by day or by the week or your stay. I'm sure you can rent either way.
If it's from Disney, it's just when you arrive at the park, first come, first serve.
Right.
And so if you're going to sleep in and arrive at the park at 11 o'clock in the morning, will it be there? Will it not be there? Don't
Mm-hmm.
know.
Mm-hmm.
I remember one time back in the day when I took Bridget, our special needs daughter, to Disney World. She would have been gone, 22, 23, something like that. But she's under 5 feet, and her manual wheelchair, the tires started to just disintegrate. And so I rented one from Disney at just after, whether before we got in or right after we got into Epcot. And at that time, all they had were the hospital type wheelchairs. One size does not fit all. It's just one size, and it had just on the seat. There was no cushion on the seat. It was just like a sling. So it's
Yeah.
a true hospital type of wheelchairs, and her legs didn't touch the pedals and so on. If you're going to be there for any length of time, 2 days or more, my strong suggestion is rent it from an outside vendor, because what if you're tired and you want it at wherever you're staying, or yeah, it's great to go. Say going to Magic Kingdom, and let's say you don't get there till, let's say, 10 o'clock in the morning. Well, you're not parking right next to the entrance. If you're parking the regular parking lot, it's way back there. Or let's say, again, 10 o'clock, but maybe the special needs or handicap parking spaces are all full up. And I've been hearing from members that Disney, God love them, they get incredible theme park attention to detail and all, and they're great. But they cannibalize some of their wheelchair parking for the premium parking.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
And again, I personally not seen it, but that's what's reported back to us in the Disney Casinos Facebook group. So even though you might think, oh, I don't really need it where I'm staying, get it. Get it for the week. It's my recommendation. And we've even had this one post. The lady she posted a picture, and she was staying at, is it Port Orleans Resort? But she showed a picture of her room, and she did it to say, "See, I told you, 2 scooters fit in there. Here's how we made them fit."
Mm-hmm.
Because yes, you can recharge them, leaving them out in the hallway, and many people do, but some people are not comfortable with that
Yeah.
for obvious reasons. Disney security is great, but and so there's that option as well.
so it's interesting that you talk about how Disney has kind of sniped some of those handicap spots away. In Florida, there is the ADA regulation where it is for every 6 parking. No, let me get this right. At least one van accessible parking space is required for every 6 handicap spaces. Additionally, medical facilities are required to offer more handicap spaces. There's a ratio, so hopefully they're going by the proper ratio compared to the amount of parking spots they have.
Mm.
Well, first, I didn't say it. That's what was reported by the members in their comments. So
Sure.
don't start getting a lawyer to sue Dan.
Ah, this is a
B,
safe place.
what you just read, what I heard was there needs to be X number of wheelchair, vans.
Oh, van accessible. Yes.
Mhm.
Thank you, van accessible,
Yes.
not per parking stall, but per handicap parking spot.
Right.
That's what I heard. Did I mishear you?
No, yeah, no, you heard that correctly. I was
Okay.
looking for,
So
because there
yeah,
should be in every parking lot, like if you have 100 parking spaces in a parking lot, You're supposed to have an X number of handicap spots, is what I was looking for.
Yeah. Actually, I'm gonna write that down. I'm intrigued about
Yes,
what that is.
I had to do I had to do a report on that in college. So it was a while ago, but I wanted to look it up because I wanted to see if that was valid in Florida as well. But I think it's a national thing. I think it's regulated.
Mhm. So, I'll say, um, mom went with us the last time she went was New Year's Eve. Um, so we had
Oh,
a great time. We went to Epcot New Year's Eve, partied till whatever time, 1 o'clock. I think we finally left the park. We live streamed it on Corey's channel, and but that will take a toll, right? And so then we did Magic on New Year's Day, and then by the third day, Mom was really tired. Um, and my brother, was like, I think we should get Mom a scooter. And I said, yeah, Mom's not going to go for a scooter, so you can forget it. And he went and talked to her, and excuse me, she agreed, and I was shocked. And I tell you what, Corey then met up with us on the 4th, and she was just whipping that thing around, just going and enjoying the park. And to me, that was the biggest thing, because if not, she would have went, but she would have moved at a slower pace because we had tired her out by the fourth day. But now with the scooter, she was able to enjoy the park. And the fourth was my older son's 21st birthday, and so that's kind of why we were at Epcot and kind of enjoying it. So had we not gone, and she not, you know, took that chance of doing riding the scooter, she wouldn't have enjoyed it as much. And she was able to get on the rides and park the scooter where she needed to, get on Small World, and she wouldn't have really enjoyed it had she not done that. And I say that just as I didn't even tell her that I was gonna I was gonna talk about this story, but um I say that to say, if you think you need it, rent the scooter. Go watch the parks, go watch Corey's live stream, and just see how many scooters there are out there in the parks. Don't be embarrassed or ashamed that you need a scooter. Take take what life has given you, and be able to enjoy the parks at your speed. You don't have to go at everybody else's speed. Take the parks at your speed, and enjoy the parks, because I can see the difference. And when we go, we will certainly rent a scooter for the whole time that Mom is there, just to make it.
Right, you can go faster than everybody.
That's right.
especially after say 2, 3 the afternoon in Epcot when everybody else is dragging.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
Oh,
So I was able to bring
absolutely.
it up. Oh, I'm sorry. Finish up.
No, well, just going to say that's another comment that we hear um, in the Disney for Seniors Facebook group, where people don't want to, or like said Lawrence, might feel embarrassed to, and so on. And time and again, there are comments from members that say, Why? You've earned just by like uh, not to get overly dramatic, but you know what? Being a senior, you should celebrate. You've taken whatever life has thrown at you, and everybody has their own lives, their own challenges and problems that come up in their life, but you've survived. You've made it. These are your golden years, truly. Do what makes you happy. And if you want to go to Disney, but you're concerned about mobility, maybe your hip's been bothering you, or your knees, and so on, do not go. Go to Walmart and practice with one of their scooters inside their stores.
Mm,
If you're afraid you can't handle it, just do it. You
hmm
don't have to buy anything either. Okay, pick up whatever at Walmart. But practice there, and don't just do it once and get turned off by it. Do it a couple of times, and then go to Disneyland, go to Disney World, prearrange to rent a scooter for your entire time. And you may find, let's say, going for a week. Well, maybe you don't use it on the first day. That's okay. It's there in your room in case you need it, or if you've driven there. But if you're staying on site, then use the Disney bus. And the Disney transportation is incredible. There's another thread talking about that, where Parts of the Caribbean has a special boat.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the Little Mermaid ride at the Living Seas has a special car, whatever it's called. The bus transportation, oh my goodness, there's no way I could have brought Bridget, did on 2 occasions by myself, where there's no way I could have done that unless Disney Transportation. Their buses are phenomenal.
Yeah.
And the drivers are so patient with people, whether it's a teen or a young kid or a 20-year-old or a 60-year-old, 70-year-old in school, it doesn't matter. They're very patient. I'll get you all situated, put all those hooks in, make
Mm-hmm.
sure you're stable, we'll test it, and then they'll let everybody else on. Do it, get it.
Yeah.
I was able to pull up what I was actually looking for. So, for accessible parking spaces, a minimum of 1 accessible space for every 25 spaces. That's the ratio. And for van accessible spaces, it's at least 1 for every 6 accessible spaces. So CPA, there's your math.
What was that first ratio again? I'm sorry, my mind drifted for a second.
It's 25 to 1. So for every 25
25
parking
to 1.
spaces, you need a handicapped space. And then for every one of those, you at least 1 for every 6 accessible spaces for the van accessible.
Great. Well, if I was someone who was living near Orlando, again, I mean, not just Orlando, obviously, but Anaheim, but well, since we're talking about Orlando, if I was someone living in Orlando, I would be that kind of guy, retired, who's got, I tell you, I was not only a retired CPA, but an ex-auditor.
Oh.
I would be that guy. I would bring my GoPro 9, black, and I'd be okay. Show me the spots. Let's see them. I'd be that guy. I wonder if any of your listeners are that guy. You could
Well,
do that.
I'm kind of
Because
that
it's interesting
guy.
based on the comments.
I'm kind of that guy. Now I walk through that area all the time. I'll be walking through it tomorrow, so my eyes are going to at least glance around and kind of get an idea of what we see there for handicap spots. Based that, I don't know. There's a lot of regular spots, and it doesn't seem like a whole lot of handicapped up there. But we'll give them the benefit of the doubt. But we'll take a look. I'll glance around. I'll kind of see what I see up at the top there.
Grandma Grover brought up the point about the Skyliner, because with the Skyliner, you just kind of roll in. They've got the cars that don't move, and you can roll your scooter right in, and then it takes off. So it's nice and easy. The boats I think are the same way. They're all pretty accessible. So yeah, all Disney transportation, like you said, do it. It's so worth it. So worth it. So what's your favorite ride?
You had to ask me that, did you?
No one can ever say it really fast. You
No.
notice? And I always have to break it down. I tell people, okay, I gotta break it down by park, and then I have a whole story.
There we go.
It's hard.
If I had to I actually asked our seniors that in our Disney Seniors Facebook group, where I would say something like, all right, we are going together to Disney's California Adventure as a group, but we're not going to be back, any of us, for 5 years. What one attraction, again, attraction can be ride or, show, but one attraction, and you're only allowed to do one, which one attraction? And we've got some hilarious answers. People refuse to take the bait and refuse to say just one. I can't. I can't do it. There's just so many. And I like the shows as much as the ride type attractions. Nancy did get me hooked on rock and roll roller coaster the past several years. I'm not a big roller coaster fan. And I'm scared of heights, so it even took me a long time to use I call them gondolas, but, you know,
Yeah,
skyway.
I think that's what they call them,
Uh,
gondolas. Yeah.
Sounds like Nancy
yeah,
keeps you young.
she does. But there's no way I can catch her because, again, she runs marathons. Again, she's training right now. She did a half marathon on the weekend, and she and his friend, who's also a Disney fanatic, who's younger than her, and this lady's daughter. Again, I won't mention their names on the air just in case they don't want me to. They ran a half marathon locally in the greater Phoenix area, but because they're preparing and training for the Dopey this January, and for those who are not familiar with it, the Dopey is a Disney World thing. And it's where on 4 consecutive days you're on a 5K, then a 10K the next day, and then a half marathon the next day, and then a full marathon on the fourth day.
Mm.
So there's a name that comes to mind for people like that. I'll verbalize and say they are incredible people, and God love them. I wish I had the stamina, quite an accomplishment. Yeah, but Nancy and this lady and this lady's daughter, late teens, early 20, I think 21, they did the half marathon, 13.2 miles. But because they're training for the Dopey, before it even started. So I can't keep up with them. I've done one marathon. It was at Disney World. It was in 2022. It took me so long. I did finish with the balloon lady. It took me so long that my Garmin watch stopped. And it stopped because you can track it and have them. I wanted it as a souvenir to frame it, a map of my route doing my one and only marathon. And it stopped just after I got out of Hollywood Studios going towards Epcot. So it stopped like at mile, I don't know, 24, something like that. That's how long it took me. It took me under 7 hours.
Mm.
Yes, one and done. Thank you very much. Thank you.
So I have put the link in the chat for the Disney for Seniors Facebook group. If you're interested, go over there, sign up. Now, what I will say about this group is that it is a very well, clean run group. So there are some rules that you need to adhere to. But I think that keeps it a much better group on Facebook than I've seen of a lot of even Disney groups. Disney groups can get a little out of hand. So I'm glad to see how Dan and Nancy and his moderators keep that Disney for Seniors group running.
Can I talk about those? Can I just take a minute to talk about those rules? Because I think it's important, if I may.
Yeah.
Okay. Nancy and I have a part-time little mom and pop travel agency called, hey, it's very imaginative, Nancy and Dan Travel. I was not a marketing major. I'm sorry.
I was going to say, it took you a while to come up with that, right?
Oh, yeah. And so, from day one of our operating principles is that long way to get around to it. No politics. We even said no politics even on your profile picture. You can't have a profile picture that says, I support this candidate or the other. And we did lose in the early days some members because of that. But no politics, no self-promotion, again, including your profile picture. Travel agents, God love them. I'm one of them, and I know what they're like. And so travel agents, we have some of them in the group, but they can't use their travel agency name as their Facebook account. It's got to have their personal name. They can't have anything to do that says they're a travel agent on the profile picture, in any post, a welcome post, a comment, nothing. DVC folks who like to rent points, nope. So for all of those are zero tolerance rules.
Mm-hmm.
To say I'm a Medicare card carrying senior, I don't have the patience anymore for garbage. And that's why it's zero tolerance. It's not Therese Johnson's speech just before he said he was not going to run for president, but we will not accept. And any member of the group who wants a travel agent who specializes in Disney and with for seniors and mobility challenged adults, we will not accept them as clients from day one. And yeah, I know, 46,000 members. But the nature of the group is it's too important to us.
Mm-hmm.
And otherwise, we'd be hypocrites if we did that because we're not allowing any other TAs. But what we have done just very recently, because we've been asked, I want a travel agent specialized in Disney who can do it for seniors because we want different things, understand it, and mobility challenge and so on. So I broke down, and we do have 2 travel agencies that I vetted. They're in the same travel agency network that Nancy and Dan Travel belongs to,
Mm-hmm.
who they're not members of the group, although they came in as individuals to see what we're all about. And if someone really wants a travel agent, such as in Disney, seniors, mobility challenge, then I've got a list. And people reach out to me. Have started to now, just one even last night. I'll send them that list. Because again, and we're not getting a kickback or commission or anything from it. It's just too important. Seniors, you've made it. You deserve respect. And you deserve to be happy in these golden years. It sounds corny, but it's true. And so that's why our group's different. There's nobody in there who's trying to sell things. Anytime, and because members tell us, there's that little button if you on a comment or on a post, report this to admin.
Mm-hmm.
And our members are doing that all the time because again, with now 46,000 between Chuck and Jillian and Nancy and myself, 4 against 46,000. The odds are not stacked in our favor. So our members help us out,
Yeah.
and they're fantastic. And again, there's zero tolerance rules. In addition to the whole, no cursing and be kind and courteous. I mean, all that's standard stuff.
Yeah.
Um,
And you wouldn't have grown to 46,000 as quick as you did if you didn't have those rules in place. I totally believe that because they know that it's a safe spot that they can ask a question that you probably couldn't answer in a traditional Disney Facebook group, because you know that you're going to get an answer that isn't snarky and this was answered already, why didn't go scroll back, because they're seniors and they understand, and not everybody navigates Facebook the same way
right.
my 5-year-old daughter is going to.
Right. And the answer is coming from a senior's perspective,
Right.
as well, where anybody who's under 50 now, I call them youngins, right? But so a youngin will say, "Oh, just do this and move on," or won't get it, has not gone through at say a Disney park, and even if it's say 2 days, maybe they're tired because they have to look after their kids in strollers, but they don't get the emotional and physical stamina drain that a senior gets now.
Mm-hmm.
And I get it now. Nancy gets it. She's not, well, again, depends whose definition she's a senior, but she doesn't have her Medicare card yet. And so having gone through the experience as a senior with just say the stamina part, your perspective is different. And so the answer and the recommendation you're going to give in the comment will be different. It'll be more, and I'm a believer in this, it'll be more in tune and more appropriate for what a senior really wants and needs, what will really happen.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why we even have non-seniors in the group, but they say, I'm going on a multi-gen Disney vacation to Disneyland Resort and such time. And I'm bringing my parents and my grandparents, so full like 4 generations, which is fantastic. It's just so blessed. But they come into the group, say, I need to know how to make this the best vacation for my mom or for my granddad. And so they come into the group and they might not post very much or comment very much, but they're just absorbing, seeing the comments on the posts
Mm-hmm.
of people who are giving the advice. It's really is wonderful. It really is.
And so, also, I want to talk about your YouTube channel, which is called Nancy and Dan Travel to Disney. Tell us a little bit
Again,
about that.
very, very imaginative, right?
I wonder where this channel's going to show us. Where are they going to travel to? No.
And who's doing it?
Right.
Nancy, all the things.
Right. Who are the hosts?
Um,
We have no idea.
and so again, I started that channel 18 months ago, and also all of our travels, but there's just such a gap on traveling to Disney from a senior perspective, um, that we basically took all of our videos except one. People seem to like it. That was not Disney related, and it's things. It's just because again, Nancy and I do not live in Orlando. We do not live in Anaheim or Southern California. We're here in the middle of the desert, Greater Phoenix area. So we're not going to be blogging or vlogging every day, or we do one a week,
Mm-hmm.
maybe two sometimes. But it's focused on our experience as seniors. So I'll give an example. Um, we, and again, being the CPA and auditor type and to numbers, I did a series on if you want to stay in a Magic Kingdom resort, well, which one is best for seniors? That was my initial thought. Turned out to be 4 30-minute videos on different aspects between the 4 Magic Kingdom resorts. And before you get a comment in the chat from one of our viewers that there's only 3, Wilderness Lodge is a Magic Kingdom resort. It is.
Mm-hmm.
It just doesn't have a monorail. It's not a monorail resort, but the Magic Kingdom resort. And so different aspects, just the objective. If it has 2 swimming pools, it has 2 swimming pools. You can't debate that. So that's objective measures. Then it was subjective. Then it was cost, and then subjective measures, and then the fourth one to bring it all together. And then someone said, "Oh, it's way too long. Great in Tampa, they're way too long." Well, if you're a senior, if you're retired, you got time. But I then did a summary one that's about 10 or 12 minutes. I summarized all. But the surprising thing to me, and I never thought about this, which resort costs the most in every room and suite category? Yeah, it's Grand Floridian. It's not Poly. It's not Contemporary. Which costs the least? Wilderness Lodge.
Mm.
It's not even close. Even though, yes, it's Disney and Seoul, it's not inexpensive. But then we did that, and then we thought, well, let's look at the beach club as an example. But like visiting, even resort hopping, and not everyone, literally, but beach club is very popular. But why? Because of the quasi water park in Well, which demographic wants to go to a water park that's got this huge slide and is very noisy? Not every senior. Some seniors like quiet
Mm-hmm.
when they're trying to relax. Some do. I mean, Nancy's my favorite resort from a senior's perspective is Boardwalk because it has, unlike Grand Floridian that has zero leisure pools, I call them quiet pools. It has none. Boardwalk has two. One on the Boardwalk inside, one on the Boardwalk Villas side, the BBC one, and that's an incredible, and nobody goes there, and I can't figure out why.
Hmm.
It has It's never been crowded. No more than at the most 5 people anytime Nancy's been staying there and used it. And it has at either end, I'll call it a mosh pit. Youngins seem to say mosh pit, but it's got two areas where they are cushions, fat thick cushions seating with love seats and individual cushion chairs, but in a horseshoe shape. In addition to the standard, lounge chairs.
Mm-hmm.
And the trees in there are so huge that they give shade to most of the area throughout the day. It's like a hidden gem. It's wonderful. Now, yes, you can only go there if you're staying at the boardwalk. Yes, there are some pool hopping rules, but is that quiet pool one that if you're staying at Animal Kingdom or Pop Century or whatever you can go to? I can't remember the rules on which ones you can and can't. Other than the beach club pool, you can't do
Yeah.
that. I know what you're saying there. And so it's that perspective that we provide on our YouTube channel from a senior's perspective, at least what we like, and we're both seniors. And then we started to now have videos supporting the Disney for Seniors Facebook group. And so in the group, we did very quickly, before we run out of time, but very quickly, about 2 months ago, I did a post and I said, it's now become, at least in my mind, infamous 5 minutes with Josh D post. Anybody that enjoys Disney, you know who we mean by Josh D. And I'm not going to say the gentleman's name right now, but you've got 5 minutes with Josh D. Tell him the one thing that Disney Parks needs to do to improve the senior experience, whether it's Disneyland or Disney World, even though we're a global community,
Sure.
but we just on those two parks in the state. I had to turn the comments off. There were so many, I couldn't keep track of them. But because of that one post in the Disney for Seniors Facebook group, then on the YouTube channel, I tried to summarize them again, CPA auditor, I like spreadsheets and all this stuff, right? And so I summarized them into two videos. It was called Seniors at Disney. And the first one, again, for our tiny YouTube channel, again, we're tiny, I get that, and that's okay. But it has now 25,000, 26,000 views, which is like, jaw dropping for us. And yeah, I know some of the bigger ones get that like in half an hour, but that's okay for them. For our tiny channel, that's huge. It's been out for about a month now, I guess. And so we said, wow. And so we did another one that focused on the cost saving ideas that the seniors have. Everything from, at Shanghai Disney, there's senior discounts on park admissions. And Hong Kong, yep, it's there as well. Now, obviously, different ownership structure with those two theme parks. And yes, I'll say it, culturally, seniors are more revered than sadly they are in North America.
Yeah.
They just are. Now, people want to debate that. That's fine. We can do off camera, but that's been reality. But if it's possible there, why not in America? And so they had great ideas, and so we bundled it up into the second video, also called Seniors at Disney. It's about the money kind of thing. So our YouTube channel now is still our experience at Disney, including Disney Cruise. We've been on one, fortunate enough to be on one. We're going to be on the second one in January. But from a seniors perspective and supporting the Disney for Seniors Facebook group, so much so that we actually have a logo now. We just got a logo about 3 weeks ago. I know, it's just so busy. And so in the 3 weeks or 2 weeks, I forget the schedule, will be the first video that has the logo on the YouTube video. That's for the Disney for Seniors. And it's about the results they're both trying, if nothing else, trying to encourage, hopefully there'll be a cast member who somehow stumbles into the video and finds it somehow. And maybe that cast member says, not all of these ideas are going to cost a lot of money. It'll be great PR, especially for Disney World that's got the big elephant in the room known as Epic Universe in May next year. It's going to draw some people away.
Mm-hmm.
And who knows, maybe that cast member happens to have as a contact in with, I don't know, at the sea level at Disney parks or at Disney. Yes, I'm a Disney nerd. So as JP said, the character JP in one of my favorite movies, not just Disney, but favorite movies, Angels in the Outfield. Have you all seen that one? What does
Yes.
JP's famous line say? It could happen. So who knows? But yeah, so that's our YouTube channel from a seniors focus when Nancy and I are there and helping to support the Disney for Seniors Facebook group.
Love it. That's a great idea. I want to go back to the senior discount. If you could, how much would it be if it was on the U.S. side? What would it equivalent to?
Well, I'll tell you. I've got an undergraduate degree in macroeconomics and finance, and so my macroeconomics told me you got to look at the big picture. Yeah, delve into the details.
Mm-hmm.
You got to look at the big picture, and the big picture says it doesn't matter. Disney has all kinds of celebrations in the two American resorts on both coasts. When was the last time, I'm going to get on my soapbox now? And again, Disney's fantastic. We love going there. It does so much for its guests and everything. Don't get me wrong. But when was the last time Disney celebrated seniors? Has there been just a senior day once in a millennium? Has there been a $5 discount off of the rack rate at a Disney resort, which I guess comes to nothing?
Yeah.
When was the last time there's been a senior park admission? It's easy to do. And Disney can say, well, the baby boomers, and this is in the videos coming out, actually came out last week, where I found a study that said baby boomers own 70% of the spend or disposable income in America. Okay, fine, whatever that is. But what about, and this term that I never knew existed until I did the research, there was this demographic group called, it's one research called the silence, as in silent night, but the silence. And it was 75 and over. And the amount of spend that they have just plummeted from what the baby boomers have.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what's wrong with saying for this particular park admission, it'll be for those to 75 and up? who's going to, people complain. Well, ARP says that we're seniors at 50. Well, Medicare says, what's wrong with that? It's
Yeah,
the
but children
respect.
are no longer children after 9 in Disney. So, right?
And so, to answer your question, Lawrence, um, it doesn't matter. It's the respect, in my opinion, it's the respect that seniors are. Corey, when's the next time you're going to the park?
Tomorrow.
Do me a favor. Go into, and it doesn't matter what park it is, go into the Disney store. Take a picture of a t shirt, of a fly bag, of take a picture of anything in the Disney store that has the word senior on it. Could you do me a favor, do me a solid, and then email it to me?
So you want me to look to see if there's anything that says senior on it?
Yep, the word senior.
Okay.
Anything. A sweatshirt. I can't remember what does Disney call the past few years with
Jersey.
cheer. Yeah,
Jersey, yeah.
spirit jersey. Is there a spirit jersey that has the word senior on it, as in celebrating seniors or saluting seniors? A Turvis mug or Turvis-like mug. Is there a coffee mug that has the word senior on it?
There'll be
You take
nothing.
all those.
There'll be nothing.
I haven't been to the park since when were we there last? Was it
Yeah,
January this
I
year?
will definitely look. I know my merch really well, but I would love to find it, and you'll get it if I find it for sure.
Please do.
So yeah,
Think about the PR and the marketing if Grandparents' Day 2025 they release some sort of special for whatever age group you want to make it, 65 and older, 72 and whatever. Um, think about the PR that would give them, grandparents to come and stay with us. Let's celebrate, do a stage show, um, bring out some of the older characters that haven't been seen in the parks in 30 years, and bring back that feeling of nostalgia. A lot of the characters, what the Friar Tuck and all those from Peter Pan that you don't see anymore that used to be in
And
the park.
Robin Hood.
Robin Hood, right? That hadn't been in
Yeah.
the parks in forever. Um, that would be phenomenal, I would think. You know,
Yeah.
um,
Now I'm pushing, and probably because Nancy and I are not blessed with any grandchildren yet. But that's where, I mean, grandparents, fantastic, seriously, fantastic, blessed. But not all seniors are,
true.
and it's like in our culture here, and yeah, I may get some flack on the Facebook group, but that's okay. When did the word senior become a dirty word? It's like it is.
Mm,
Um, as I say, seniors is something to be proud of. It's a tremendous achievement. No recognition,
yeah.
unfortunately, in the parks in the U.S. at all. So send me those pictures, and I will credit you with those pictures, and I will post them, and they'll be flocking to them because that's the kind of comments that we received that they found maybe 5 years ago, a certain T-shirt or something, and so we felt sorry for that because now I am a haute couture fashion designer because the folks, the members of the Facebook group told me, damn, where's the merch? Where's the merch for the group? So they told me what purveyor of online store that they've had success with, whether it's at their high schools and so
Hmm.
on, for their kids or grandkids. So yeah, so we've got Disney for Seniors online store, and that. It's not the premier haute couture quality amount. You know,
Well,
but it's
it's
something.
money. It's money, right? Disney, it's a win-win. Disney can celebrate
Oh,
seniors for a day, and they can also put all the merch out. You can get the senior lounge fly, the mug, the corksicle, the T-shirt. You can get all of that. It's another marketing opportunity for Disney too, which their
oh,
bottom line is
absolutely.
money. I mean, so they can do it. I like Neil had a big comment there, but at the end, seniors don't voice many complaints. So,
They
every
haven't been
year
to the
Disney,
Disney for Seniors Facebook group
it's time for Neil to sign up. But you're right though. Besides your wonderful group, they don't use their voice to Disney. Where if you look at things like Pride, that's every year. It's a bigger voice. It's a bigger group of people, and Disney makes sure they put that out every year as well. So, um, you know, your place is a good start
Yeah.
to voice that opinion for sure.
Yeah.
And listen, I have a lot of talks with Disney in the parks when I'm live. I turn the camera, I say, "Listen, Disney," and then I voice my opinions. So I'm going to
Ah,
make sure that I talk with Disney here and there about the seniors as well while we're live. So
great. You
I
could
got your
even
group
ask
back a little bit.
a cast member in the Disney stores, whether it's on Main Street USA or whatever park you're going, rather than waste your time. Just go into the store, find a cast member, saying, "Where's the merchandise, the merch for seniors
Mm.
to celebrate seniors? Where can I find
Mm.
Yes, 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 yes. I'll do that. I'll do that here and there. My visits to the park, I'll say, "Hey, just wondering, can we suggest that? How do we suggest that?"
Mm.
Okay, thank you.
Where's
I can do that.
suggestion box?
Mhm.
that?" There you
What
go.
is the
Um,
suggestion box for that?
Dan, Captain Mickey Mouse says that he loves the art behind you.
Ah, that has nothing to do with Disney. I Nancy's got one of our bedrooms as her home office, so my office is in our dining room, and the other wall has pictures of our older son's and now daughter-in-law's wedding and pictures. So I didn't think that was appropriate. So those two were taken on Nancy and my honeymoon. We've been married for about 11 and a half years now, and it was taken in Napa Valley at the Rombauer wineries. Rombauer, who are known more for their whites, as I understand it, than their reds.
Mm.
And it's it's like a it's so maintained as well. It's like you're at in a Disney garden or something. And those were two statues that were there. We actually got to meet the horticulturalist that was there, who only in chatting with him, he had again 11 years ago now, 11 and a half years ago. He had his own show on PBS out in New England, I think in Boston. But yeah, he was there when we happened to be there coincidentally, taking care of these things, and it was great just talking with him. And yeah, just some great memories. I mean, in our garage, we even still have the big placard that we had made up, Nancy and Dan's wedding, the date, and so on. That's the garage to remind me. But
Mm.
these two pictures we had to have blown up on an iPhone, whatever the generation was, 11 years ago, iPhone 6 maybe.
Wow.
Don't remember now.
Very nice.
Now they shoot
I'm
movies on iPhone 16s.
Yeah.
well, I'm really current now, relatively speaking. I'm on an iPhone 12.
Oh.
I think what mine is. I think I have a 13. I
We
think.
have to think about it, right? As we approach seniorhood, we have to think about what we have. I used to know exactly what I had. I'm like,
Yeah.
do I have a 15 or a 14? What is it now? Is it the 16? Is the 16 new or is it the 15? See, I don't even know now. Talking myself out of it. I think I have the 14.
Yeah, we both have the 12 and still working fine.
Exactly.
I kind of feel like a senior a little bit in the sense that I know how to be with seniors. I don't know if Dan knows this, but physical therapy is my profession, and
Oh,
so
I
I'm
did
in
not know that.
I'm in assisted living facilities in people's homes all day long. So I have lots of
Okay.
years of hanging out Monday through Friday with people, well into their 70s and their 80s and even their 90s, and I enjoy the heck out of them. Yeah.
Oh, I'll bet. I'll bet.
Mhm,
Great.
mhm. We've had viewers come to the park and, give them the confidence to come, and I literally have spent some live streams with them and helping them feel safe and helping them transfer properly off and on particular rides and things like that. So,
Really?
I enjoy
Wow.
incorporating that kinda stuff too. Yeah. There's some things that are tough, like, you look at, the boats we get into, like,
The
Small
Three
World.
Amigos ride.
Yes,
Although
yep,
Small World,
three
you've
three
got
caballeros.
what do they call it?
Yeah, it's a
Three
little deep,
Amigos.
you know? So, if you're with somebody that you are physically able to assist, there's things where you should get in the boat first and take their hands and guide them down. You should get out of the boat first and help them up. Well, no, let me think about that. Yeah, you could do it both ways, but probably you getting out is probably the best way, to do it. So there's always ways to strategize getting on and off safely too. Things like that can be a challenge.
I got a story, quick story.
Yeah.
So on one of those two solo trips where I took Bridget, our special needs daughter. Again, one of her challenges, she has cerebral palsy. She also has cognitive issues. And so we got to the Frozen ride and in Epcot, Norwegian pavilion.
Hmm.
And so, I'm her big, strong dad. I've been her protector from day one, and I don't need anybody to help me. I can deal with it. So I had that attitude going on. And so, got to our turn, pushed Bridget's wheelchair right to the edge. And so, I turn around and pick her up. And so she was, what, 22 at the time. And I try to, you know, put her onto the bench, but somehow her foot, because she wears splints, AFO splints, from her toes up to just below her knee. And so somehow one of her feet in the shoe in the AFO got caught, and I can't see because it's not the brightest in the loading area, like light wise.
Right.
And so the people behind me, they're all seated. They gave us the front row. So, okay, yeah, pull her. Well, yeah, one of her shoes, special made shoes for AFO, came off. I got to get this kid down. Okay, I'm pushing her in the Disney wheelchair. So if she loses the shoe, fine. It's not going to ruin the day. But this wonderful gentleman behind us bent down calmly, picked the shoe up, and handed it to me. And so that was, life lesson. Dan, don't be the macho dad. Ask for help. And I've been learning in life's journey, learning. So I've been doing that more and more.
Yeah, that's a good point. I always teach people. I'm teaching in facilities and things like that and how to transfer people. And you never want to be a hero and do it yourself. Never think that you can always just do it yourself. Really try to assess the situation and recognize, you know, that you may need a little bit of help. Um, I've been an expert in transfers for 30 years, and there are times that I will ask for help, and I'm not ashamed of it because I know this is going to be safer for the person I'm transferring and for me. So, yeah, you got to recognize those times too.
Yeah, and sometimes it's hard because if asking for help can mean well, and my way of thinking way back when was, well, I have to ask for help. It means I'm a failure because I'm her dad. I'm supposed to be able to do everything for her. Any parent
Yes,
feels they should be able to do everything for their child,
I
regardless of
get
how
that.
old their child.
Hmm.
Right? So I'm learning. I'm getting better, I think.
So this has been great. There's been a lot of tips and tricks in here. I hope that any of you that are questioning, should I go to the parks? Should I take my parents or aunts or uncles to the parks? There's ways to do it, and make it enjoyable for everyone. The park is not just Guardians and Mine Train and Space Mountain. There's plenty of stuff out there to do in the parks that everybody can enjoy. Mom and I went. Finley wanted to get on Corey's favorite ride, Astro Orbiter, and so Catherine took her on Astro Orbiter, and Mom and I went to Hall of Presidents. You know, and did that and took our time there and enjoyed that. Mom hadn't seen that at that point in, I don't know, 25 years or something like that. So there's stuff for everybody in the parks. So just take it at the speed that you can, and just enjoy it. And when we were in a big group of 18 people, one of the best things we did was split up.
Yep.
just split up. I'm gonna go do this. You guys go do that. We'll meet back up for lunch. Okay. All right. Good. Let's go. Because they want to go do something, and the little kids need to go do something else. And um, Dan, you mentioned earlier that you were not. I don't want to say scared of heights, but it's not your favorite thing. But you did mention Tower of Terror. So you do Tower of Terror?
I do, and maybe it's because in my career, I worked in an office, and even starting when I was in high school, I would work in downtown. Let's see where I lived for an international bank, and they had one of those international bank towers and so on. So I've always been on elevators, so it's the elevator thing. I just laugh. It's so funny to me. I just nonstop belly laughs during
Yeah.
the whole ride.
Yeah.
But yeah, the gondola, not my favorite thing, but
Okay.
I've now gotten over that. Yeah, I close my eyes at parts of the Guardians. I still have to do that. I close my eyes at parts of Rock and Roll Roller Coaster, and I know now when the camera's going to come on for the picture, and so I make sure I get my frozen smile for the picture, pretending I'm enjoying that part of the roller coaster. Nancy is a big roller coaster fanatic. I mean, we went to, I think it was SeaWorld. She did the roller coasters on her own. I wouldn't even go to the roller
Mm,
coasters.
mm-hmm.
No thanks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Um,
mom doesn't like roller coasters, but Tower of Terror, same thing. Belly laughs, just absolutely has a ball. I mean, you can take, because they do a video on Tower of Terror, and it's a slow motion video, and you can just see her just sitting there
yes.
laughing and laughing away. It's so much fun.
Oh yeah. It's great. It's great. And seniors, again, you're at Disneyland, Walt Disney World Resorts. You're there in this hot summer. Remember, there's a lot of shows
Mm-hmm.
in the parks where you can go inside into nice air conditioned theaters, even the waiting areas. Although Disneyland, a lot of the waiting is still outside of the attraction, but um, so that's why we like doing the shows. I mentioned a couple of them at Animal Kingdom theme park, like doing those. Most of the shows at Epcot take our time, and that's why for us it takes us 2 days at least to do all of Epcot because we're inside doing the shows. And
Nice.
even the one at called O Canada, the Canadian Pavilion. I say even that because even though it's born in New York on Long Island, so yeah, I can talk smack if you really want to. But I lived up in Canada for 5 decades, and sadly, so I still go to the Canadian Pavilion at Epcot, but sadly, they replaced one of my two current favorite comedic actors, Martin Short. He did the O'Canada film. Love that. And with respect to Catherine O'Hara and the gentleman whose name I can't remember, but they both appeared on Shit Street, they are now doing for a couple of years now, the old camera. Thankfully, the last trip that Nancy and I were on when they were announced they were changing, taking out Martin Short. So I got a lot of pictures of that. Didn't have to do any videos, but I got a lot of pictures of that. So yeah, I'll still go to do the Canadian Pavilion show, even though every time I go, I'll do the old man thing. Like, back in the day, I think Martin Short version was. I'll say just loudly enough to Nancy, just loudly enough for people behind me to hear.
Eugene
Over our
Levy,
guys.
says Jen W.
Thank you. Yes, Eugene Levy. Thank you. God bless you. Yeah, I saw him when he was at Second City up in Toronto. Right?
Mm,
But yeah, don't forget the shows, especially in the summer. Get you out of the heat,
that's right.
relax, cool off. Even the Monsters Inc. Laugh Factory. Now, you may not be a fan of the Monsters Inc. animated movies, two of them now, but go see it. And yes, the jokes are almost the same every time, but it's great. Cool off, get some giggles. Maybe you'll be that guy.
I've been that guy. Have you ever been that guy?
I've never been that guy. Nancy was she the churros lady or something? She was one of them.
I'm
One
sure
time,
she
so
was.
when the camera was on her, I'd be going
Yes.
like this, trying to get in the picture. No, I've never been that guy. Or on Star Wars, right? It's always some young kid, usually, who's always a spy. I never
hmm
get to be the spy. I don't know why.
Well, they had a run on Corey's channel. They had a run. I think it was 4 Star Tours rides in a row, where somebody in our group was the spy. It was pretty crazy. It was pretty
Oh
cool.
We
wow.
did, right? Like 3 times in a row, whoever
Yep.
was with me.
Yeah, yeah. It was wild. Finley does not like. Our daughter doesn't. It's one of her favorite rides, but she does not like being the spy. So um, now she doesn't like want to do it. So we have to tell the cast member, and then
Don't like her. Yeah.
yeah. So yeah. Well,
That's
thank you, Dan, for coming on. I'll give you any parting words that you of wisdom that you want to tell the group. And again, I'll remind the group, Facebook. His Facebook group is called Disney for Seniors, and his YouTube channel is Nancy and Dan Travel to Disney. Plenty of tips and tricks in both of those. The Facebook group is 46,000 members strong, which is phenomenal.
And I want to say, within all this time, one of the best pieces of advice he'd given is, if you have never driven a cart, definitely go to Walmart and
Yes.
work on taking out some of the guests there first before you come and take us out. So that would be great. I've seen so many people, like, grandma will just hit that gas and then take out like a stand or back up really quick and take something out, and it's like, whoa.
Yeah.
They should give lessons first before they jump on those things. That's good stuff.
Yeah. Practice in
Yes.
Walmart. No, I sincerely appreciate the invitation, Lawrence, and inviting me over, and Corey, for both of you, for having this on. And I say us because, to me, I'm representing the seniors and seniors in training. Because if we're fortunate, if we are fortunate, we'll all get there at some point in our lives. But I feel like I'm representing the group, where it's just such a supportive group that, yeah, we take issue and umbrance with Disney once in a while for lack of recognition of seniors.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, seniors doesn't mean we're all in scooters or UCV. I mean, it could be far from the truth. Ariel's doing roller coasters. My daughter Bridget, born from birth with
Mm-hmm.
special needs. But it's an opportunity to help raise the awareness that there is this huge demographics that's not being completely served, and for whom they've earned by just living long enough to be a senior. In my opinion now, selfishly, because I am one, sure, but they've earned the right to be able to enjoy themselves at this stage of their life. And Disney is one of them. Huge Disney fans. Grew up with the original Mickey Mouse Club, for goodness
Mm.
sakes. So any exposure that we can get on behalf of the Facebook group, it's not Facebook group per se, it's Disney loving seniors. So happy to do. So again, thank you so much for the invitation. Thank you for taking the time to have us on and talk about this. Really
Absolutely.
appreciate it.
It's been a pleasure to have you on for sure.
Same here. Thank you so much for giving us your time and helping us to continue to bring any topics we can think about that, not a lot of other podcasts seem to do. Like, we try to tap into everything to help people. It's edutainment, like Lawrence said. When we're live in the parks, I always say, I'm educating you constantly, but you're having so much fun, you don't even realize it. So we love the edutainment piece, and thanks for helping us be. We have another thing to tap into, our
Fantastic.
senior area, and we'd love to have you on again sometime and kind of remind
Great.
people and refresh what you got going on, so we can keep that going too. And I'll promote it throughout the park this week when I'm live a couple times for people to jump over and re-listen and join. And I'm sure Lawrence will throw all those links in the chat while I'm live, so we can have more people be exposed, because thousands of people will watch the streams. So
Yeah, absolutely.
And then maybe next time Nancy will be able to join us, which would be great. And Corey, again, I'm gonna stand by have my phone on tomorrow evening and all day, but especially by tomorrow evening for those pictures that you're gonna have as attachments to send me of senior specific merch
oh, the
at Disney
pressure.
Park stores. I'm gonna be waiting for
I,
I'll
I,
be at Magic, so I'll be at the granddaddy of them all.
I don't think
that. Ah,
clearing
terrific.
his phone. He's like, no, I gotta clear out all these old pictures so I can fill them all up with all the pictures Corey's gonna send me.
Gonna have
Yeah.
to make space. Gonna have to make
And if you
space.
find some, again, fantastic, because then I can tell our group, guys, you're saying there's no senior merch. Well, the Corey fan.
Right.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
maybe
It's all
we're
over
just
the
not
place.
looking in the right area. Yeah.
That's right.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Really,
you.
really mean that.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Dan. Thank you.
Thank you. Good night, everybody.
Good night, Dan. You got rid of me, man.
Oh, sorry.
You got rid of me. Fine.
Very cool. Very cool.
Always great. Again, like I said, I love, kudos to you for finding Dan. I love being able to tap into, it's that thought process, right? Where you, as a smart business owner, can be very successful in your company, because you don't have to know all the intricacies or areas of how to run that business. You just hire the right people. And by us, what do we know about allergies in the parks? Oh, we know Ashley. So we bring her on. So we're an expert podcast on allergies, right?
Mhm.
Or, somewhere close to that. Now we have someone who specializes in seniors. And it goes on and on. We've done many things different ways, and we've done things ourselves too.
Yeah.
How to do Disney in the rain, and broke it down. And we just have so many resources. You know what? At this point, at doing 68 podcasts, maybe we need to go through them so that I have like a list on my phone. So when we're in the parks, it's another way to promote the podcast as well, right? Like, if just something comes up randomly, it's raining. Oh, hey, if you all watching want to know details and a plan that we came up with, go listen to podcast number 17,
Mhm.
where we talked about the rain or whatever it is. Seniors, we have seniors in there or something, that just triggers, hey, let's send people to that podcast. Maybe you put that particular link in at
Right.
that point if you're watching, if you're not napping in the back of the couch at that point.
Right there.
Right there. So good stuff. I'm proud of what we do.
I am too. There is a list of 68 episodes so far. It is actually on our Google Drive. of every episode that we've done and what the topic was. So the next step would be to put the link in to that so that I can just click it and put it right in there.
Ooh,
Yeah, we'll do that.
perfect.
Yeah, we'll do that.
Perfect.
Yeah,
Love it.
I love what we do, because I think that we help a lot of people. I was talking to Dan before the show and telling him how, you know, I met Grandma Grover the first day that you and Neil met her in the parks. I'll never forget it. We were standing right by Rise of the Resistance, and she came over and said how happy she was to have been in the parks, and it was you and Neil. Um, and she gave a lot of credit to Neil, which he deserves all the credit in the world for showing her that you can enjoy the parks. And then I'll never forget being on the Zoom call, the members only Zoom call, and she joined the Zoom call from Epcot. So we're all at home and she's out in Epcot. And then, of course, that was a great night that Spencer went and he was like, I'll be back. And he hangs up on the Zoom call and goes and meets Grandma Grover over. And then they went to Space 220.
Yeah, we were Zoom calling from Epcot.
Yeah.
With everybody else at home watching. It was the greatest moment ever for the Zoom.
And
It was
it
great.
was it was just so great to see that and to see people enjoying the parks. 'Cause I love it. I love to be there with people for the first time, people that are going for the first time in a long time. It's just phenomenal to be there with folks like that. So
Yeah. Shannon's in chat. She wants Neil to go on Tiana's ride again as soon as possible. And I also want to ask Shannon, is Lawrence and I on the correct sides of the screen?
I don't even know
Shannon usually lets
anymore.
us know.
Yeah, I don't even know. Now that we're using this format, I don't
It's
pay
it's
attention.
like the T-shirts they sell now in the parks. I think this is going to be a seasonal thing every time. Do I wear the Minnie Boo or do I wear the Mickey Boo? Do I wear the Mickey Santa or the Mini Santa? My joy, my boo. Who knows?
Yeah.
Am I supposed to be on that side or you're supposed to be on that side? Who even knows?
So talking about our episode, bring up
Neil says, "How many podcasts you making me old?" We have a podcast for every year. Neil is old. I think it's got to be close. It's got to be close.
so these are some of our upcoming episodes. We're going to talk about the Disney Vacation Club. We're going to talk about the holidays, of course. We will talk about Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party coming up in Jollywood. We'll also have a guest on that's going to talk about the Disney College Program. Uh, um, we have traveling to Disney with a toddler, and our viewer week, where you have the chance to join the show, is coming up. So we've got a lot of stuff coming up in November and December here. So make sure to stick with us. We appreciate all of you watching as you do. Because you all add to the show, right? I mean, you bring in questions that we aren't thinking about. You ask their opinions. You talk about the art behind their on their wall. That all adds to the show. So we appreciate all of that. Definitely do. Oh, Keeping It Thrills is in the house. Hello, ladies. Are we going inside the parks and then wrapping up?
No,
Oh, all right.
no. I mean, we will. All right, let's do that. We'll go inside the parks first, and then we'll touch on a little itch that
Oh.
I have. A little couple things I want to touch on. But let's just review. I always say this, and I'm talking for a little bit, right? I don't know if much happened in the parks this week, but let's go.
I had to look over here at my audio board and make sure I had my censor button ready.
Well, when you come back in, just keep you and I on screen because I don't. Let's
Okay.
interact on this one for
All
sure.
right. Sounds good.
All right, inside the parks. I would say this. I would say that we did something that we don't do a lot. We actually park hopped. It's not a huge deal for some people, but for us, it is because we like to pick a park and stay dedicated to that park for the day. That's just what we do. But we were kind of forced to do it because of the crazy crowds this past week. Uh, and you and I talked about it. We think it was a combination of people that missed some hurricane days, and I think one of the European countries was on vacation as well. So it was a bad mix. Uh, does it get busier because of the what I call the party effect? We
Hmm.
should we should trademark that, Lawrence. It's the party effect. Uh, and I've talked about this for over a year and how the parties affect park attendance in other parks and
Yeah.
on park days and things like that. Um, so that was all going on. And I never run from the crowds, but this week I did for sure. But so normally what I do is my routine, going to bed Friday night as we were going to do our big day stream on Saturdays. What I did was I was like, oh, I want to get Tiana's, so I have to get a reservation. So went on, and there were no reservations for any park, which is quite unusual these days for
Yes.
that to happen, unless it's something special happening that day. So I was like, geesh, how's this going to work tomorrow? So woke up in the morning, checked, and the only thing available was Animal Kingdom. And then that quickly shifted where then I think it was Animal and Epcot. No, Animal and Hollywood. Then you and I talked, and no, was that right? Yeah. And then it switched where those two disappeared, and then it shifted to Epcot, and I'm like, that's it. I'm
Yeah.
gonna commit to that. I'll watch Magic. By the time you told me Magic was available, um, oh, didn't I get stuck? Oh, yeah. By the time you told me Magic was available, I had already done the thumbnail and all that stuff, and I'm like, we made arrangements with friends. I'm like, I think we're committed at this point. So, but we took it casually. We said, we're not going to put a hard stop on Epcot as to when we jump over to Magic, and we had a good time. Ate some foods, showed some visiting friends around, and enjoyed some fish and chips. And I got my hot dog. I am hooked on those hot dogs. I am hooked on that Chicago dog. I need that relish. I already have Tammy on the scene. I need her to locate this relish here locally
Mm.
because it's good relish, that Chicago relish for sure. It's a good dog. And did I miss anything for Epcot anyway?
Um, no, not that I think of. Nothing I can think of.
So we went from there, and we jumped over. It takes a while. With Epcot being closest to Magic, it's still a process. We didn't really wait for more than one monorail,
Right.
and I didn't look at the time, but they really need to make a monorail. Maybe I want it so bad, or I think it makes so much sense that I think Neil's mentioning the Guinness Shake as well, and I was going to mention that he likes that. He's a fan.
Mm.
Uh, so I just think that there should be a monorail that's direct to Magic. I always think there is, then I realize there isn't. But one good thing is once you check in through security at Magic, for anyone that doesn't know, you can park hop from Epcot to Magic and vice versa, and you do not have to go through additional security. But there was a time before COVID that you had to do security for both. Did you know that?
I did not know that. I thought it was always that way because of how it was logistically set up. I didn't know that.
Yeah, that was one of the talks I had with Disney back then.
Wow, that
So
is well worth it. I wish you didn't
yeah,
have to do that with the Skyliner, but I get why you do.
yeah. So we did Magic, and Magic was busy, but you know what? We talked about it later, Tammy and I, and it didn't affect us at all. It was a good night to say, let's not do fireworks, and let's take advantage of less wait times while people are lining up for Magic. And I'll tell you, when we approached getting inside the park, they made the announcement that Main Street was at capacity or near capacity.
Figured that. I didn't hear that get mentioned, but I figured that because they had you go in through backstage. So when I saw that happen, I said, "Oh, it's busy."
Yeah, definitely went backstage and was able to get through quick.
Yeah.
And we didn't stand in any lines. I mean, I don't remember. I don't think we stood in any lines. We just we took what the park gave us,
Hmm.
and we felt like we had a pretty productive night. So we had a really fun time and called it a night. And that was Saturdays. So anything else that I may have missed? I don't even remember where I was the Wednesday before.
No, it was. I think he covered it all.
It's good, right?
I think
And
we're.
on the tech side, we've been good, right? We've been solid, not dealing with any major lag. I
Mhm.
know we had a problem with when I just run straight through the Prism app. We've been having trouble with it killing the stream if I run a graphic. And at the very end, we ran graphics, so
Yep.
it might work. So I think I'm going to run a test stream at the park quick tomorrow, and then we'll go live.
Nice.
So and I'll
Oh,
run a few graphics, and if it works, we'll go with it.
Charlotte Renee mentioned Jungle Cruise. You got to do Jungle Cruise because it opened back up.
Yes, we thank you, Shirley. We did get on Jungle Cruise. Jungle Cruise was fun as always. I almost I didn't do it, but I almost tried to get the attention of the cast member, and it's almost like you notice the cast members for Jungle Cruise just almost don't break or stop for anything.
Mhm.
Like there's no true interaction directly with people if they have a certain comment or say something.
Mhm.
But it probably just has to do with the timing of what we're approaching and what they have to say.
Yeah.
But he was hard to hear. It
Uh,
was really hard to hear him. Even like Shirley, um, and I don't know who was sitting even closer than she was. They couldn't hear either. It was weird. So it was hard to really hear him. So, we were trying to celebrate. We're back at, doing Jungle Cruise. Here we go. But it was a little bit of a flop in that sense. But it was still good to visit Jungle Cruise.
mm.
So there's inside the parks. So let's talk about a couple things before we go. Want to talk about our sponsor? We can do that. We can do our sponsor first. And then from there, I have a couple points of discussion to raise with the live chat. And if you're listening on iHeartRadio, Apple, Spotify later on, definitely comment. Also, you can comment here on the Living in Diz channel. Why am I saying that tonight? On the DIZPod channel, where we love comments as well, because that helps also.
Mhm.
So we appreciate all of that. So, if you're looking for a home that offers the perfect blend of luxury, comfort, and convenience with Disney World in your backyard, Victor Naraki is a licensed realtor with Vision Home Real Estate LLC. He's here to help you find the home of your dreams. With over 13 years of experience in the Disney area home market and a proven track record of success, Victor is the perfect partner to guide you through every step of the home buying process. So, why wait? Visit celebratingflorida.com today to learn more about Victor's exclusive range of properties and schedule a viewing with Victor. Your dream home is just a click away. And if you want to, you're here on YouTube now, you go over to @VictorNaraki, all one word. It would be great if you could sign up for a subscription over there. It's free. Just become a subscriber of Victor's channel. And if he reaches 5,000 of those, Lawrence, he is going to donate $1,000 to Give Kids the World in sort of all of your names. So that's a good gesture to do. You help Victor, you help some kids as well. So,
Absolutely.
yeah. So okay, 2 points that I want to make that are in a Disney Adventure home. There you go. I'm glad we're seeing them there. Also, guys, I hate saying guys. Forgive me. I got to put $1 in the jar, in the swear jar. That's the swear. The word guys is a swear. It's just a faux pas for me for being uh, a graduate of Columbia School of Broadcasting. You don't say guys. You don't say
Mm.
it. You don't say it. You don't say it. You don't say it. I hear all these live streamers say it, and I hate it, Lawrence. It goes through me like crazy. Oh gosh, I cringe and I kick myself whenever I say it because I'm guilty too sometimes. Don't say guys. Okay. I haven't gotten to my points yet. So, okay, and my voice is dry. I don't know why. The back of my throat's been dry for like 2 or 3 weeks. I don't know what that is either. Okay. So, let's go with Epic Universe first. What are they doing? What is Epic doing? Because it really burns me up that okay, we've given into the fact that as annual pass holders for Epic, or I should say for Universal Studios, they're offering us the exclusive chance to buy a one-day ticket, be one of the first to buy them on sale. And if I understand it right, today they went on sale for people who want packages. So I think that's where you can buy a 3-day, but only one of those includes Epic.
Right.
That's whatever we knew kind of that was coming.
Yeah.
But for pass holders, Universal, I feel like a lot of ways have always been better to their, at least recently in recent years, has been better to their pass holders than Disney has. It's a fact. But we got an email, and it's Thursday, and I'm going to be right there, and I'm going to buy them because I don't know when we get the next chance to do so. But they're giving us an exclusive chance to buy a one-day ticket to Epic when it opens. I think that we should have. Well, how can we make that better? I think that we should have pass holder previews. Why not open this up to your pass holders? It's a great thing to do for your pass holders and allow us to experience the park and iron out the bugs. You know, allot it to so many per day. Maybe it's 2 days. I don't know. Maybe it's 3 days you got to do this. Maybe it's one full day. I don't know. But do something like that for us would be nice. But what really burns me up the most about that whole thing is that, and I say you're asking us, we don't have to do it. I understand. But you're asking us to buy this ticket. So if I buy tickets for me and my family, what are we guessing? 150, give or take, per person?
Mm-hmm.
But then are you going to say in a month or two, oh, here's annual pass prices, and those go on sale next week? If I knew that ahead of time, I wouldn't get that I wouldn't drop 450 or whatever for that one day. I would say, I'm excited, but I can wait 3 months or whatever to get those annual passes. I talked to somebody on the West Coast who's experienced this with Super Mario Brothers, and I think said that it took like a year for any of that to come forward. So they had to buy the passes or whatever to get in there. So that's my point. What do you think about that? What does chat think about that piece? What do you think about what Epic is doing? I know it's their way to make more money. It's crazy, but I just don't like the way they haven't even announced plans for annual pass holders. We don't know if we're going to have a chance to combine this. Is it going to be a separate ticket? Okay, I'm done on that piece.
Yeah, so Keeping It Thrills says, don't get Jessica started on Epic Universe. She's not happy. And she is I don't know that there's a bigger Universal fan out there than her. Jen W says how much. So yeah, I think you're right on it. Probably, $150 or so about there. Tiger Girl wants to know, do you think you'll be able to stream it? I think you'll be able to stream it, but not the rides, probably.
Well, I mean, if you go through traditional Universal Islands of Adventure stuff, I have full confidence. I would be surprised if you couldn't, but I'll have full confidence that we will be able to treat you all to the atmosphere. Looks like there's a lot to see. There's a lot of walking around. It looks like you can do, so. You look at the properties, you're not going to be able to, definitely can't stream the new Harry Potter stuff.
No,
because you can't do it. You can't do it now. Um, Isle of Burke. I mean, there's an outside ride. I don't, I think Isle of Burke, there's no inside rides for that.
Oh. Mm.
I think it's a coaster, and you've got that crazy thing that I will not get on. The dragons, flying the dragons, I will not even. So you could probably do that. What else am I missing? Dark Universe. I would say you probably can't stream that. So I will be pleasantly surprised if there are any attractions indoors that we can. And yeah, so I think we can definitely treat you to the outside stuff. Disney Adventure Home says they are having a soft opening for pass holders. I believe they revealed today. I haven't had a chance to look into that completely, but you're right about a little something there. So I got to look into that part a little bit more. But I think that would be a very nice gesture for them to do that for us, because they still have annual pass holder nights. And we did a vlog on it on Living in Diz. If you haven't seen it, it's a fun night. You can check it out. We had a really good time with low wait times. You know, it was really nice. And
Yeah.
Disney used to do those too. Those have to come back. And we have those on our channel too. You got to go back to the beginning of the channel, but we have vlogs when we did Magic Kingdom. I don't know if we did the Epcot one, but so yeah. Shirley Renee says, let us be guinea pigs. Neil says, I have no idea what the price of the tickets will be. It's ridiculous. It's immoral. Oh, and I did want to quickly say that if you want to stay at a great place off property, everybody, starting at $145 a night, 6 minutes from Disney, check out where we stayed. We don't have that link handy, do we? I gotta make sure that's handy.
Yeah.
What's that?
I'll try and find it.
Okay, we'll put that link in the chat. Would be great. Check that out with Disney Adventure Home. It's pretty awesome. Oh, what am I doing there? Okay, so I talked about that. Let's see. Steve Bullock says, I would think they would have a preview for live streamers and bloggers. They could. You'd have to be media for that, so we wouldn't be invited to that one. But I hope they do a soft opening. That would be really great. So the other piece I was going to talk about is, and I'm going to bring it up too, is cake bake. That's been a hot subject, right? Have you been following that a little bit? Did you see the headline today?
I didn't. I saw the headline. I didn't look at the new news.
So if anybody doesn't know, Cake Bake is a brand new restaurant shop opening up. No one knows an opening date yet, but it's looking like it's pretty close to opening. It's pretty looking. In my opinion, they should have just updated the ESPN restaurant and just made it like the coolest sports bar ever. You know, Disney property doesn't have that. And they should do that. But they posted their menu, and I don't know what they were thinking about posting the menu they did with the crazy prices that were there. I would probably say I was one of the first to see these prices, because they were, I think, within a very short time of them revealing it. Had a friend who was staying on Boardwalk and sent me the photos, and I couldn't believe the pricing. So for an example, and I'm pulling this off of what I think is a nice little reliable website, is Mickey Blog, or Blog Mickey, right? And you know what though? So because of the heat that they took, they did reduce prices, but they're not that much. They didn't drop them that much. But I did read that their prices are much cheaper. It's a chain, and so their prices in other states are, I think, much cheaper. But an espresso went from $6 to $4.99. You know, a Bloody Mary, they dropped it $1, $19 from $19.99 to $19. But those are drinks, right? I think I've got a couple other things here. So a Belgian waffle went from $22 to $16.99. An egg sandwich, Lawrence, $23. $23. Come on, really? That's. I know you got to make a buck, right? But wow. Okay, I'll finish this first. $23, and it's now $19.99. I still would not eat it. So what I did was I was lucky enough, thanks to Steve and Tony Bullock. My family was lucky enough to stay in the presidential suite over at Club Wyndham about a month ago, a little bit more. The Starbucks there I thought was expensive. I went down for breakfast. I got a beautiful smoothie. And I wish they did these at all Starbucks. Got a beautiful banana strawberry smoothie, egg sandwich. That was like $23 just for that. Crazy prices. But just the egg sandwich alone, went from 23 to 19.99. They're still not doing anybody any favors. All right, Lawrence, what do you think of granola and a yogurt? You know, you get the little parfait. What do you think that one costs?
I have no idea. I would say maybe $6.99.
Excellent. $26. And then they've been nice enough to reduce it to $19.99. Who's going to eat here?
So so I'm looking at the comparison between the two. Some of them have actually gone up. They were 21, now they're 21.99.
Good point. Good point. So, do you think that they like move numbers around?
Yeah,
to kind of keep it going, but let's hide some things.
Yeah, so there's an old marketing thing that they talk about. You find it more so in restaurants than anywhere else, where you'll have an exact dollar amount, not the 99 or 50 or whatever cents. And so a lot of the original menu, it was just straight dollar, $6, $18, $26, or what have you. Now, if you look at the menu, it's all, for the most part, 99 cents at the end. And so it's a marketing trick to make you think, oh, well, that hot chocolate's, $9 because it's actually $9.99. Hot chocolate, folks, $9.99. It's a marketing thing. I understand that piece of it. I still don't get why anybody would spend some of these. That's just outrageous. $20 for an egg salad sandwich. I didn't want to eat those as a kid. I'm certainly not going to pay $20 to eat it now.
Neil says I need 12 sandwiches. I'll go broke. I'll have to take a loan out. I think when you look at the beautiful building of Cake Bake, when you walk in, just to your left is the loan center. That's where you go and you sit down and they'll run your credit and they'll approve you for a meal. So I might have to do that.
Yeah, financing first before you enter. Yeah. Yeah.
So I just think they deserve to be called out. And you wonder, right? Did Disney pressure them to lower the prices, or did they do this on their own?
I think there was enough there that they said, yeah, let's do something. But again, honestly, if you look at the entire menu, they didn't do much. They didn't do much.
Now, I never want to say something for definite sure, but I'm feeling like for now that I want to leave this to others and actually boycott this restaurant. I don't see myself wanting to pay for a peanut butter and raspberry jam sandwich. That went from $18 to $12.99. I went and got corn dogs over there just around the way for $15 a corn dog. That I thought was crazy. This is another level.
I would look at this the way I would any restaurant on a family trip of ours. This is not someplace that we would go to. So just because it's new and expensive doesn't mean I'm going to go to it either. In fact, I'm going to go to it less. There's so many other places that I haven't eaten at, that we haven't eaten at. I'm certainly not going to lay down $23 on a egg salad sandwich. Sorry. Oh,
I
no,
can't think of it off the top of my
$19.99.
I can't think of it off the top of my head, but I don't know if it was in this article or a different one, but there are other places right there on Boardwalk that you can get way more for your money and enjoy that rather than that there. And I mean, I think cake slices. Well, does anybody know? Because I don't know. Before we take this to an end, Their cake prices. I just wanted to look at that because what how does their cake prices compare to Gideon's? So there's an Oprah cake, and that went from $24.99 to $22.99. Is Gideon's in that area?
I don't think I pay that for a full cheesecake at Cheesecake Factory. Like
Yeah.
it's a slice of cake, folks. Publix makes great cakes.
Yeah, man. Publix is the measuring stick.
Publix makes great
So,
cakes, and they're not $22, $23. I, I don't
yeah.
know. I don't I don't get it. I don't get it.
Yep.
Neil, let us know how it is.
Yeah. Neil will go there. I'll call him. He'll be like, "Oh, I'm over at Cake Bake. It was Alyssa's birthday. We're having some cake."
Mhm. Mm-mm-mm.
Well, on that note, I think we said it all and we did it all. We covered a lot today. I saved that one for the end. Lawrence had no idea that was coming.
Nope. Thank you all for being here. What are we talking about next week? I have no idea. Something.
I never know. No.
I don't know.
I'm going to go have a bite of key lime pie from Publix.
Publix. See? Telling you. I don't get it. $23. There's so much more I could do with $23. And I get it's Disney and we all spend a heck of a lot of money at Disney, but $23. That's a nice 60/40 t-shirt right there.
Yes.
Oh,
exactly.
next week's our Halloween show. We're gonna celebrate.
Oh.
Hey, by the way,
We're going to talk what?
Halloween. It's Halloween. It's the 29th. So we're 2 days before Halloween. So it's our Halloween show coming up next week.
Okay.
By the
Okay.
way, I gave you credit for being correct on the number. You were wrong. This is actually episode 69.
Oh, I celebrated too. 70.
For next week.
Episode 70 for Halloween week.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then the following week is Traveling with Toddlers. The week after that, TBD. And on November 19th, so I found Dan on the Pete McDevitt show, and I reached out to Dan to come on to our show. And so on November 19th, we're going to have Pete McDevitt on our show. Pete is going to be joining us. And I'm sure a lot of you know Pete. If you know Disney YouTube community, you know Pete McDevitt. If you don't, you need to go check him out. He will be live here in about an hour with his Insomniac show. It's a very clean, non-risque show, right, Neil? He never says anything weird. But he has a lot of fun. He won't. It's before 10 o'clock on our show, so he'll keep that in mind. But he's going to be live in the parks next week, actually streaming. So we'll talk about his trip to Disney and get to know Pete McDevitt a little bit that week. So we've got some great shows coming up for you in the next few weeks. We still have Disney Vacation Club coming up with Krubaka, and we also have the Disney College program coming up. So great amount of shows coming up for you here as we
fun stuff, keeping it fresh,
ending the year. Can you believe that? Unbelievable.
That's unbelievable. Man,
another year is come and gone. You know what that means? You have to make a new opening for season 3.
Okay.
Start thinking about it now.
Man, I'm sorry. I've got this. The work has really ramped up for the documentary film. I'm starting to feel a little overwhelmed here. We're diving back in, filming and planning and things like that. So, God, to still run the channel and do all that, we'll try to fit that in. Try to fit that in. If I don't get it right away, we'll get it. We'll get it. Yeah, I'll try to come up with some new ideas. It'll be good. We need that. We need a new thumbnail to kick off the year.
Yep.
Are
Sound.
you're here before the year is out, right?
That's mom's plan, so that's what I'm
All
thinking.
right.
They'll
We need to start. Is Nick coming?
I don't know. I have to reach out to Nick.
Okay. Yeah, we need to take some photos.
Mm-hmm.
Can try to do
Yep.
some
Get
photos.
some promo.
Publicity photos for the podcast.
Yes.
Maybe we
Yep.
can incorporate that in the thumbnail.
There you go.
Yes. All right. Well, we've done it all. We've said it all. And glad to have brought you all another fantastic DIZPod. Make sure you check out our sister channels, Living in Diz, live in the parks 2 times a week. And also our little baby sister channel, who I get to feed a little more content this week. Magical Strolls. If you're into watching riding rides virtually from home or wherever you are on any device in 4K quality, you can check those out there at Magical Strolls. All one word. You can look it right up at Magical Strolls, and also just magically walking through the parks and through Disney resorts. So there.
I'm laughing because Neil says he can see my park reservation, so he knows when I'm there. But I don't have one for November. But those are my places, Neil, just in case I can get there for those days.
There you go. I know. We see some people. We have to get Shirley Renee in the group.
Yeah.
We got to get her in the group.
Yeah.
As well.
All right.
All right. Thank you all for watching and listening live. We do it live because we do it for you. One more time, thank you to Dan for joining us, and Nancy, that wild one. Keep her under control, my friend.
Make sure to check out his YouTube channel, Nancy and Dan Travel Disney, and their Facebook group, Disney for Seniors. Great group, great information over there. Otherwise, we will see you tomorrow night on Living in Diz from
Magical Kingdom.
There you go. And then we will be back here next week for Halloween. Until then, good night, everyone.
We're just a couple of bros talking Disney.